to the Sistas Talk Podcast. It's your girl, Nikki. Short of my girl today, Miss Danny M. But we do have, as advertised, a special co-host with me today. Miss
Thurayah McBride.
Thurayah
McBride.
Thurayah. I called myself, y'all, working on this before we went on air.
It's okay.
But here we go. I'm just going to say Miss McBride.
It's a unique name, so I'll take it.
It is. It's a very unique name.
Thank you.
Right. We appreciate you being on air with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and as advertised, you have a lot of information, and we've been advertising all week. Yes. To our viewers and listeners, that you have a lot of information to share with us today on real estate.
I do.
And as I told people today, when I posted an advertisement today, hey, it's tax season. You getting your refund this year. Let's do something great with this refund and invest in ourselves and our families. And so you definitely want to give us a little information about that, and we're so grateful for that information. So I want to, like I say, make sure everybody has the opportunity to hear the information that she's going to be sharing with us today. So with that in mind, I want to just give everybody a little time to step on air, and I'm just going to go over just a few current events as we always do. So one thing, I don't know if anybody else seen the unfortunate deal that's going on with Megan Thee Stallion. It looks like she signed a bad record deal. And so, unfortunately, until she can get everything situated, we won't hear any new music from her. So definitely prayers going out to her. She messed up. Unfortunately, she didn't know, of course. And she signed a bad deal. And then when she did get with a good label, she explained. I don't know if everybody caught her Facebook Live feed. If you haven't, if you go to like Facebook TV, you can catch it. But yeah, she explains everything. She's very transparent about the situation. So it's a lesson I think that everybody can learn from, not just artists, but anybody in any type of business. As we all know, our show is geared toward entrepreneurs. And so entrepreneurs, we got to keep that in mind. For those who were able to tune in and catch some of the clips from the Focus Business Conference that Sistas Talk was at last Sunday on location. They talked about, that was one of the things that they talked about at that conference, is making sure that your business, you don't just set it up for just the right now. You set it up for long-term jeopardy. So that means, yeah, you may be a small business right now, but if you plan on your business growing, then yes, you definitely will want to go ahead and invest and have you an attorney on retainer. Have you a team already. It may cost you right now, but it will cost you even more in the long run, as we can clearly see with her unfortunate situation. So everybody, like I said, once again, prayers going out to her, and I really do pray that this matter gets resolved for her really soon. Also, guys, want to go into also COVID-19. I just want to give you guys just some facts just to help you guys out who may be in fear. We don't want you to be in fear. That is not what this is about. We're not to live a life in fear. We're still supposed to be enjoying our best lives. So just remember, guys, just keep hand sanitizer and wash your hands all the time. Like, just make sure when you're getting in and out of the car that you're putting on that hand sanitizer. As soon as you're entering into your homes, wash your hands. Be conscious of these things. Just always washing your hands and doing your best to keep your hand out of your face. These are some few tips that are out there that are real tips. In case you don't know, I am a medical professional outside of this show. And so I can tell you for sure, those are just some facts there. Just make sure mainly that you're keeping your hand out of your face. And that pretty much will help with avoiding you, taking in anything. So just keep those things in mind. Just keeping in, just don't be in fear. And then, like as my pastor said today, hey, God forbid if something does happen, though, just trust that God is a healer and that you will be okay. So either way, you have no reason to live in fear. All right, so let's get into what we're going to call today like a real estate corner.
Okay, I'm ready.
So first we want to start off, we want to give basically give us the full name of your business.
Okay.
And go ahead and start off the show with all your social media platforms, any way that anyone can contact you for information that we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so again, my name is Thurayah McBride. I'm a local real estate agent here in Houston, Texas. So our brokerage service Houston and the surrounding suburbs. Okay. So, that includes Humble and the Woodlands, Sugarland, all of Fort Bend County, Harris County, Montgomery County, Azoria County. Okay. Probably some more I forgot to name. So we have a brokerage called the McBride Home Group. And on Sistas social media. Mm-hmm. So how they can get in touch with me is through, I'm on LinkedIn, Thurayah McBride, Instagram, the same name, Thurayah McBride, Facebook, pretty much. Thurayah McBride.
Okay, everything is just Thurayah McBride. Okay.
And if you're looking for the brokerage, the McBride Home Group is.
All right, and so this is the Thurayah McBride Home Group. So you're handling.
So the brokerage is the McBride Home Group.
Okay.
Yes.
That's so you, and then what about the real estate portion of it?
Which? Yes, residential. It's the residential real estate brokerage.
Okay.
Currently, we're going to move into commercial maybe sometime later in the year or next year.
Okay.
Because I was with other brokerages and then I started my own brokerage.
Okay. Okay. And so with you, basically, that's what I meant to ask. Pretty much is you're helping the person with a lot of the whole process. You can kind of meet them at the whole process.
Yes, from start to finish. So we're a full service brokerage. So we're there before the transaction happens and when the client has a transaction, either buying a home, selling a home, and then after the transaction, we're still servicing the clients for years to come because things come up with their HOA, things come up with their taxes, their insurance, and all kinds of other things come up with the home over the years. And so we're just there
for everything.
Forever.
You're helping them find the home, and then you're helping them.
So if they're a buyer, we're doing a buyer's consultation to help them become a homeowner, and if they're a seller, we're doing a listing consultation to help them get their home on the market, get it marketed, get them top dollars for their home. So that whole process.
All right. That is awesome.
It's a lot more steps involved than most people think. So we can go over that when you're.
Yeah. And so are you aware or are you helping clients locate any type of assistance if needed?
Yes.
Like I know I hear about a lot of different programs out here.
So we partner with, when I say we're full service, we have lender partners, insurance, movers, just interior designers, stagers, just a whole array of services for anything relating to home, to investing, to portfolio management, which is the rental property management, what to do, who to use, because like I said, every situation there's a step to it or there's a legality to it. So we work with two I would say really great lenders, and sometimes it takes you a while to find great lenders. Yeah. When you're in a business, you may not know getting started that everyone's not created equally. Yeah. So I kind of learned that in the beginning that some of my transactions wouldn't close because of people's, financial situation. They're self-employed, their credit, whatever. They lost a job, but then they were getting another one. And in between that, sometimes some lenders wouldn't get them approved. And then I found lenders who were able to help them in all types of situations. Mm. And then that's how I felt like my business just picked up and became a little bit like more successful, better because of the people you partner with also affect your own business.
Yes, definitely.
So they do have down payment assistance program for those who need it. Mm-hmm. Credit repair services, anyone who needs it, and a lot of people need it. I always tell you, don't be ashamed of your credit. You'll be surprised. I don't care that most of nicest homes you see in the community, the people are being affected in some way, or in pre-foreclosure in some way, or lost their job or something. So everyone suffers from a financial setback. Okay. And it doesn't matter their income bracket.
Okay. Yeah. And so also, let me ask you this. Yes. Do you also help with, I know you say you stay with them throughout the years, so are you also there to help, per se, if the homeowner wants to remodel or add on to their home?
Yes, so we just refer them to people we know that are reputable. They can, of course, go online and they're Google whoever, but we try to find, over the time I've been in this business, I'm always looking for and always networking and always trying to find who can give them the best prices. We don't want people overcharging people. Best prices, who are honest and going to do honest work, not just going to take their money and run off. And almost everyone that I'm in business with today, I've been in business for almost 10 years. I've known them prior to it. So I don't just refer my clients to anyone. If I have an electrician, I've known that electrician for a long time. the electrician I use, I can leave him a blank check and he'll give me a pretty good price and he'll fill it in. And I trust him that much. I trust him leaving my house keys, leaving the rental property keys, like anything, leaving my stuff in there. Never had any issues. So I try to find people like that I can refer to clients. Whereas if they go offline, it's kind of random and they don't know who they're getting. So we try to work by referral.
Okay,
so I constantly have to build that list because people pass away, people retire from the business. So that's my job too, is to stay on top of that as well.
That is awesome. Awesome. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about you personally. Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Houston, Texas. I grew up here.
Okay, cool. You're Houstonian.
Yes. I grew up all different sizes just over the years. And so I watched this whole city grow. I don't know the number. It feels like we had 500,000 people when I was little, and then it turned into like 1 billion. That's what it feels like now.
Oh, yeah, I am
so proud. Sure. I watched this city go from like horses and cows and 2 freeways to like 15 freeways and a beltway and toll roads and almost at 5-6 million people in Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So I know a lot about the city. Yes.
Yeah. And can you tell us also, before you became, before you got into real estate, what did you, tell us some odd jobs you did before?
So when I was a teenager, I grew up in a big family. There's 11 of us. We have, at this time, we're at 21 nieces and nephews. So I grew up in a big family, pretty poor family, struggled a lot. So I started at the age of 15 working, CC's Pizza, Highway 6, $4.15 an hour. And I went into the restaurant business, worked my way up from there, got a college degree, went into oil and gas for 10 years. So I've spent pretty much my high school to college years, mid-20s, in the restaurant business.
Wow.
And then,
Wow. That CC's is still over there, too.
That CC's, I think it is the nasty cheese. When I was little, I thought it was the best place.
I know.
I thought the food was amazing. And then I went back years ago, got totally sick. Not just me, but my family got totally sick.
Yes.
And, I'm not trying to down.
No.
But I realized that cheese is probably, artificial. And, it's not good. Years later, you find out you can't eat that way all the time. It's not good for the body. It's just not going to digest the same. Yes.
And so tell us also, did you start off making at least $80,000? And what did
I start off that way?
Yeah, do you start off? Obviously you didn't.
Me or a real estate?
Just as a real estate company as a whole.
Oh no, when you start off as an agent, you're starting from zero. It's 100% commission. You just have to sell. I mean, you have to get out there and network, advertise, brand yourself. I'm not saying there's no way, but unless you already have a lot of people, as soon as you get your license that are looking to buy and sell, they know. Most people don't. They start off usually their first year, just statistic-wise, they're at like 20 to 40,000. But it's not but there are some who exceed that. It's just a matter of their own personal grind and how hard they're working. How hard how long it takes them to build up their own clientele. So it can be done. It's definitely possible in this day and age. It's just not typical.
Yeah. So would you say that someone, to get their own business started or to just get themselves out there as a realtor, should they save a certain amount of money?
Yes. So right now, as I'm hiring for the brokerage, some of the agents that I interviewed, some of the challenges they're having is they don't have the money to join the board, which you have to be on the board, which is the Houston Association of Realtor. They don't have the super key, the key that we use to get into people's homes. We're on the lock boxes, so that is a monthly fee. And then we have quarterly dues to the board. We have annual dues to the real estate commission. And some of the agents don't even have that, and that's like the bare minimum. Like that's your licensing stuff, requirement kind of stuff. So, I'm not really sure. I'm not saying they shouldn't get licensed, but it baffles me a little bit that this is not a job like a job. It's a business.
Yes.
And then nobody's gonna give you money. You actually have to put the money into it first.
Yeah. Just like any business,
so they don't need a lot of money, but if they can have the classes alone, there's 6 classes you have to take to get licensed. 7. So you need money for that, and that could go up to, I think it's like up to 3,000. Maybe was it 2,000 or 3,000? Somewhere in that ballpark. So then you need that money, and then you need another probably 1,500 just to get on the board and get your licensing and stuff. That's not including And when you join a brokerage, most brokerages have desk fees or some kind of monthly fee you got to pay, which is like, it could range from $100 to $200 a month.
Okay.
And some have zero.
Okay. But it's definitely just like any other business. You need to be prepared to, you need to be prepared to invest in yourself.
Yes.
So it's definitely something you would definitely advise somebody to do. Just like any business, if you're invested, you're committed, passionate.
If you're going to start a business, you need 5, 10, just something, even as a side gig, you need $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, just something.
Yeah.
So that's been some of the challenges with some of them, but a lot of them, they know that and they're prepared. And, Yeah. Okay.
And so how long? I know you've given me, but how long would you say honestly that you've been, in this business?
Yes. So I started when I got out of college buying my first property and rental properties. That was in 2009. So that was when I came out of college. And then I was still working in oil and gas. And then in 2016 is when I got my real estate license. So before, as an investor, you don't need a license because you go through a realtor to help you find a realtor, a wholesaler, or somebody that to buy and sell properties, right?
Okay.
But in order to represent a buyer in a transaction or a seller in a transaction, you need to be licensed by the state of Texas. And so that's when I got my license in 2016. And then then oil and gas was already kind of up and down anyway. So I was just like, okay, it's time to jump in full time and do it.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I started at another brokerage because you cannot work. You have to work under a brokerage until you become a broker yourself, or get your license, start your own or something.
Okay. So how long has your brokerage?
Ours started in January, but we have started kind of like advertising and starting the hiring until like a few weeks ago. Okay. So like late February we started.
This is really cool. Where Sistas Talk is so grateful to have you on as a new business owner. This is really cool. Yeah. This is what we love about this show. We love to discuss entrepreneurship and encourage people to follow their dreams and, be an entrepreneur. Do what you're passionate about, what they say, we're only passing by this life one time. So, so enjoy life. And so, what is something that just really caused you to be very passionate about, helping people, getting their home, starting home ownership?
So you have to really love real estate because it will knock you down. You'll have a lot of setbacks. You'll have homes that do not close and you spend months, I'm talking 4 to 6 months trying to get them to closing. And things will happen. Maybe somebody will pass away in the middle of the transaction. Maybe somebody will lose their job. So you have to really love real estate. Like, I'm serious. You have to. But I just grew up liking real estate. And it wasn't HGTV. I know people refer back to that. But that wasn't around. I always knew, even as kind of like a young girl, that I was going to invest stocks, real estate, and kind of change, kind of like my financial destiny kind of changed the way I grew up and the way, the environment I grew up in. I didn't want that to be my future. So I had to figure out something that like you said, you have to find something you're passionate about and then put all your focus and energy on that. So over the years, I just started learning about it, and it's just something I gravitated towards naturally. Like, I like to fix up houses, I like to paint them, and then that started off. And then when I became an agent, just helping people, like, especially, I think the biggest joy is helping people who did not think they could buy a house, because how I got my first house, the story goes, I actually got denied for an apartment because I had a broken lease from years prior. And I got so frustrated, so angry at the place. I was so furious. And they were in there right. I mean, they weren't wrong. I mean, I had the broken lease. But it was from prior years ago, and my life had changed. Like I said, got out of college. I had great income at that time. And they denied me, and I called a real estate agent, and I said, how do you buy a house? And she said, well, you just need, these 3 things. And I was like, well, I have 2 of them. I just got to work on this credit or whatever. So they helped me for I think 6 months or whatever. And then I went and I got my pre-approval letter, and I started shopping for a home, and I found a home. It was a patio home, red brick, and it was so cute to me. And it was perfect, and I had my little dog. So it was perfect, and it was maybe $200 more than that apartment would have been, that 1-bedroom apartment, and it came with a 2-car garage with a remote and a gated community. And oh my God, the joy. The joy I felt was, I can't even describe. I still can feel that joy. And so I didn't think I could buy a home at that time. And then when I got into the business, the first thing I did was try to like start helping people, like, you can do this, you don't have to rent anymore. And then when I started doing it for them, like showing them how they could do it, and just seeing the joy on their face, it's like you just relive it over and over. It's that feeling, because you can see in their eye, like when people, especially when they have credit issues or they have like a setback, something financially set them back, they stay renting, and they also don't find those good lender partners who cannot get it done for them, or they don't know how to get the down payment assistance program if they need it. And then they stay renting, and it's almost like they're miserable, because they are.
They're feel defeated.
They do. They're miserable in these tight apartments where it's going up to like $1,400. I mean, I'm talking about a decent place to live in Houston right now, in our surrounding counties. So you're looking at a 1 or 2 bedroom, you're paying $1,400 a month. That's just the apartment. That's not even your light bill or anything else, or your other bills. And then you can't grow your family in those. You can't have the type of, entertainment you want to have, like your friends over, and, place for you guys to relax in your own backyard. And when I just show them that it can be done, it's like I just remember a family I helped in December, and a guy calls me, and he's like, this is a true story. I've actually posted it on my Facebook. I remember he called me, he says, our landlord sent us a renewal lease that we need to respond, and we have 60 days. We have a 60-day notice, either renew or to vacate. And he says, and I told my wife, let me call Thurayah McBride to see if she can get it done. So he was like, well, we have this little challenge here. And then I was like, oh, we can fix, we can work on that. Sent them over to the lender. They were we went, like, within a week, they had that pre-approval from the time, within like 2 or 3 days, because they had to work. The wife had to work, the husband had to work. So once we were able to get them both together, we sat them down, and like, we were out shopping, like, within a week. And they got a beautiful custom built home.
Oh, wow.
And, it's gorgeous, and they got it in a master plan community with the splash pad pool and the lakes and water, and they're just like, we didn't even think we can buy, we didn't think we could do this, and then it was done. So and that's not even the first story. I mean, you can go to the reviews, you can look at the reviews. They speak themselves.
So
it's just amazing.
It really sounds amazing and rewarding.
It is.
So so how does this process go? Like, let's say, for instance, what are you saying? Let me start this.
Okay.
Where is there an average credit score that someone really needs to have?
Okay, so the FHA would love for you to have a 620. I mean, that's they can do it at a 580, but it's just, they have like some requirements. Like, if you're at that 580, then these other things need to fall in line first. Where that 620 is a little more leeway, 650 and above, a little more and more leeway. So there's some lenders that can get it done for 580. If you're a VA, 580 is fine. VAs have a lot of flexibility, because, and they have zero down programs. That's just how their programs work. It doesn't matter about anything else. The VAs have it very good if they want to get a home. FHA, like I said, that's their guideline. They have they'll let you get a home with higher debt, like your debt to income. Okay. So if you have more debt, then you probably have to go FHA over conventional. But I'm not a lender. It's just, these are more lender questions, but, just from what I understand. So I would say 620. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But have I seen it done at like a 550, 580? Yes.
Okay. But, wow.
620 is look good.
Yeah.
And you want a decent interest rate. You don't want.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that'd be but so if you're at least at a 620, you can still get a decent interest rate.
Yes, I've seen it. Okay. It's about maybe 475. I saw. Or like under 5 right now. I think it's decent. Cause when I started, I think it was in the 5 years ago back in that time. I think the interest rate was like hovering around at 5 to 6%. Yeah. Now and then they dropped it years later because of the recession and stuff. A little bit after the recession. You can get a decent interest rate now for anywhere 4 to 275. And then I had a client in the 700, 750 scores. Got around three something. Oh yeah, and that's really good. Oh yeah, that is. That's you paying almost nothing on your interest. Paying almost nothing. You pay your home off a lot faster. Yeah. Okay. So this is really cool. And I know a lot of people they wouldn't. I mean, I know I can think of people right now who would think, "Hey, I can't get a home. You know, my credit score is crap. You know, I got to clean up debt." They're thinking I still got a lot to do before I can get a home. And so if they're paying rent of a certain, I would say maybe like 1,000 plus,
which is most of America and most of for sure Estonians for sure.
I think they're okay to go ahead and buy if they want to.
Yeah. So would you say then also too, is it another issue for you with clients as far as a down payment? How is that?
Yeah, so we've had some clients that have had like I said, it doesn't matter their income, whether they make 100K, it's just life. They've had setbacks. A lot of people, what people are not realizing is setbacks are not coming from, or financial crises aren't just because Americans aren't saving or they're not responsible. They have, let's just say just an example, you make 100K, you have 2 kids of your own, and then your mom gets sick.
Come on, now.
Or your grandma gets sick. You're going to help them,
yeah.
And you're going to pay their medical bills or do whatever you can, whatever it is to help them. So it's not just that they're not responsible. It's like you sometimes have to take on the family burden or whatever. Your kids, especially if something happened to your kids, there's no money. It's just you're going to pay whatever.
Yeah.
So they're saving, they're investing, but at the same time, these life is happening to people, and they're having some people had strokes and had to take off work or whatever, and so it sets them back a little bit. So sometimes the down payment is a little challenging because you got all the maybe you make, let's say $5,000 a month, and then you got $2,000 of it going out to rent and utilities, and you got $1,000 for food, and then the kids and medical expenses. So then just to get that savings up a little bit, it does take them a while. So if they were looking to move right away or within the next 6 months, and they're like, we just don't have it, but we may have 2,000 or 3,000, we have a program. As long as they don't make, I want to say, now this is a lender question too, but I think it was either 80 or 114,000. I think there's 2 different programs. It's like one in Fort Bend County, one in Harris County. Sorry, not 2 different, 3 different. There's one in Missouri County, and they all have like these income requirements.
Okay.
So as long as the person, I don't know if it's a person or a couple. See, that's another lender question. So if they're married, they may have one requirement. If they're single, it might be another requirement. Okay, but we have to verify that.
But as long as they meet those criteria, they're in that bracket, then they probably can get some type of down payment assistance. Okay.
Now the assistance they're not for people who want to invest, because the home has to be lived in for some of the programs, say, I think it's 5, 10, 15 years. So it's not good for anyone who thinks they're going to buy the home and then move out in a couple of years and rent it out, because if that happens, then you have to pay it back. Well, you just have to pay it back. That's all that happens. You just have to pay it back. So this may be still an option.
For the most part, people who want to enter into these programs, that's something else I don't think a lot of people knew, is that if you can enter into these programs, but that's pretty much the catch, is that you need to be prepared to want to basically build your family there.
Well, yeah, or stay there long enough to... Because some people will try to get in homes, flip them, or rent them out as they go, or as they go up in price, they want to sell them and take the equity out. Yeah. Well, you can do it. You just have to pay that money back if you don't meet that required time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so also. You have a lot of people who aren't necessarily big test takers. How hard was it to take that real estate exam?
So the real estate exam has a high failure rate. I did pass on the first time. I'll tell you, I love this business. I'm telling you, but it does, and it's not because it's hard. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's not what do you call it? Trigonometry and physics. It's just. It's tricky, and the wording's tricky. So they'll have words that look like another similar word, and if they're not careful, you can just select the wrong one. And I think that's where what I've been told the failure rate comes in. And it has I don't know if I have this number right, maybe like a 60% failure rate, 70% failure rate.
Oh, wow.
I think it's somewhere in there. It's like pretty high.
Yeah.
But it's not hard. It's not like it's not biology or anything. Chemistry. It's just tricky questions.
So you just have to pay attention to your detail.
You have to learn your terms. It's the terminology.
Oh.
You just got to learn terminology.
And I could see that being something for some people, because a lot of people, we overlook things, and they probably need to read that question maybe a couple of times before they answer it.
Yes. And they always say, they even tell you when you're taking a class, when you're prepping for it, to go with your first gut feeling. Because when you see it, you do say, it makes you have something tricky, and you're like, what, like you start guessing. Yeah, you start overthinking it.
Yeah.
And I remember I did that on a test, and I went back and erased it, and then went back to what they told me, which was go with your first gut.
Yeah.
And I passed on the first try.
That is awesome.
Yes.
So would you say that Houston is a hot market right now?
Oh my goodness. It is like, I travel, and I swear we're like the best city in the world. I swear. I haven't been all overseas and stuff, but I'm saying in the U.S., I feel like I love the city of Houston. So I moved away twice as an adult, and I came back. And everything I was looking for in other places is Houston. This was a while back. Houston started to become that city. Started to build. We started having even more diversity in cultures. Because I went to New York to live. New York's a melting pot. Then I went to Seattle to live. And these are my college days. So this was a while back. But I remember at that time we were diverse, but we just weren't like those, like progressing like those places had. So when I went there and then I came back, I just started seeing Houston people just started coming in here, investing, building up nicer hotels, building up more restaurants, more shops. Like shops that I was seeing here started coming. Like Zara wasn't here. I used to shop in Zara H&M back in like 1998.
Oh, wow.
99. But it didn't come here till almost like 2003 or 4 or something like that, right? But we already had Zara in New York or whatever. So you'll start seeing all those places you would go there to shop or have some fun. They started to come here. Yeah. Our movie theaters improved. Like everything just started improving. So Houston is now, I believe, the 3rd or 4th largest city, and there's so much room to grow. I travel all over the city showing houses or doing classes or something, and I remember the client that actually I met her today because we're going to get her house on the market on Wednesday. I remember she said, I want to see a house in Hockley. And I'm thinking Hockley's like, I don't go to Hockley. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm like, Hockley? Who the hell
is out way down the road.
Yeah. And then we go off 290, it's right there. I'm like, oh, it's right here? And then when I go out there, it's like neighborhoods, it's all developed. And I'm like, when did this happen? Like, so this city, it's almost like, I remember when people wouldn't go past Highway 6, and it's like now they're in Fulshire and Sealy and Brookshire. And I'm just like, how much further can we go out? And it's not like, it doesn't look like it's stopping. It's like people just keep going further and further out and building up enough, like almost building up those little town centers and those little city center kind of plazas. And they have everything they need, and they don't need to come into the city that much anymore. And people are working from home and, all this flex work scheduling and stuff. So it's not like everyone has to go into the city all the time. So with the land that we have, oh my God, I can only imagine in 5 years we have another 500,000 to 1 million people. Like it is just, and you see how they're building off 610 to expand 610. They put a toll on 288 because of the growth they're expecting out in Manville, Rosharon, Iowa Colony, Pearland. They're expecting so much growth that they can't build fast enough. And we're still sitting on a freeway for an hour. Just to get to an exit. So this city is phenomenal for entrepreneurs to come in, establish themselves, no matter what business they're in, position their brand, and dominate that sector.
I love it. I love everything you just said.
This is the city.
This is, somebody needs to hear that. I know I needed to hear
that. I love you.
And that is, just coming, like you said, from somebody who has traveled. And I know with you working in real estate, you're also not just looking at Houston market, but you're looking at other areas market.
I do study areas outside of Houston, but not as much anymore as I used to.
Okay.
It's just Houston is. I'm trying to keep up with Houston. And the surroundings.
Because it's growing so much.
The surrounding suburbs.
Yeah. So it's not, if somebody was like, kind of, they've been considering going into real estate, this would actually be a good time for them. Yes,
so because if you have the sales DNA, because the reason why we're having an 80% failure rate in real estate, according to NAR, our National Association of Realtor, I don't think everyone's cut out for the business, and I don't think anybody knows the truth about the business. I think that for some reason, maybe, I don't know if it's HGTV, people blame that a lot, $1 million listing, those reality shows that the perception of what we do is not accurately reflected on the shows. So I think when people get into business, it's not a part-time business for sure, and a part-time, a lot of part-time agents are getting pushed out of the industry slowly. They're just having to leave and go back to a corporate job or whatever what they were doing.
Yeah, I believe
or find jobs. There is a certain personality and like innate traits that salespeople and real estate agents have, and some people get the license and then they never do anything with the license, and they can't become successful. And it's because they don't have the traits, but they don't know that, and they end up spending a lot of money and a lot of time. And some of the bigger brands and brokerages are not even telling them that, and I think they know. That they're MFA. Like in a sense, they know because they've seen the trend.
Yeah.
And when you bring someone into the business, like at my brokerage, we're not hiring any agent. We don't take any agent. It's just not going to happen because I'm investing my own money and time into an agent, and I, from the beginning, sit down and talk to them about what it takes to be an agent, what they need to do. And of course, they're independent contractors. We don't make them do anything, but if they don't have these certain characteristics or traits or this, like, grit, hustle about them, they're probably not going to get it. It's not something you just develop. It's almost like it's already in us to be this way. Yeah. It's in our sales DNA. Yeah. It's called sales DNA.
Okay.
So if they're really serious about the business, going to take the business, going to do it full time, or eventually transfer into a full-time agent, then yes, I strongly encourage them to get into the business. I do not want them to look at, oh, there's already 50,000 of you, there's no room for me. I just told you how fast the city's about to grow. No one can handle all the business. It is very tedious to handle one client because you got to service them, help them from start to finish. Yeah. And it is a lot more work than you see. So driving from house to house and putting in offers, sometimes they're not accepted, and you got to put in offers again, and you have to do inspections and appraisal and just a lot of things, financing. So no one can take over all the business. And also the clients don't want to, clients might gravitate towards a certain client, a certain personality type themselves.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And a certain branding themselves. So one client Nikki might want to work with me, and some other person may hate my guts, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. And it's just how it is. It's like, it's like that. Even when we have brand loyalty, we have one person like Apple, one person wants an Android. But I always tell agents there is competition, but it's not in a sense that agents, I feel like they're more resource and business partners in the community than competition, Yeah. But what were you saying? Because I think I went off on a tangent.
No, you're fine.
I'm like, wait a minute, where were we at? Okay.
No, you're fine. You answered the questions because pretty much that's what I was asking. Like, is it a good time for somebody to get into real estate?
It's always a good time, even if the market is on a decline and we're in a recession, because you have to build up. You have to learn so much. So, in addition to those classes that I told you how to take to get licensed, we're in continuing education, our CE classes, all throughout the year. So we're always in class. We have to renew our license every 2 years.
Class is never out.
So it's not, it doesn't stop. So for them to learn the business and build up, they're going to need a couple of years anyway. I mean, they can learn and they can still work, but they're going to really get good at what they're doing, they need time anyway. So if they get in today or next recession, it doesn't matter. Get in. If you really think this is what you want to do, slowly, work towards it until you can go full time and full into it. But yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would you say has been your craziest experience as a real estate?
Oh my gosh. I try not to talk bad about people.
Hey, we not saying no names. We just want to.
Well, let me just say, just like in anything in life, you just like there's always people you don't mesh with. It's just life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's always that. There's always people who may have a different personality or split personality, and then you may not know that until you deal with them. Yeah. So sometimes you deal with certain people, and you don't know their intentions, whether they're good or not. You don't know them, right? Yeah. And so sometimes you do get into situations where things don't work out, and you have to cut ties with that person. But one of the things I do want to talk, I actually made a video about it. It might be out in about 2 or 3 more weeks on my blog. I forgot my blog.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, talk about it.
Okay, so it is, the first video should be up this week because it's just now getting going. It's the Houston realestatetraining.com. So HoustonRealestateTraining.com. And then that is where we're going to release the video on agent safety, because there's been, I don't think it makes the news that much unless it's a high profile. It becomes kind of like a high profile. Well, there was an incident where a young black lady got put into a back of a U-Haul and shot. She's a real estate agent going to show a house. I think that happened 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
I might be wrong on the time. Maybe it's 3. I'm not sure on the time frame. So that video, I'm discussing agent safety because we do go out and meet strangers, and so like I said, you don't know what you're gonna run into when that happens. But I have not had anything like that. It's just more of a maybe different personality types. We just have to. I'm really like high energy and very outgoing, and I got that kind of personality. So sometimes that doesn't work with somebody who's really like maybe they're more slower at pace, and I'm more like high energy, faster pace. But that's why I did so in like a restaurant industry, because it's a fast paced environment. Yeah. And it requires your high energy level. So you just gotta find people you work. I have clients, the reviews are online, but those clients that I work with, I mean, they're just amazing. Like just helping their families and just being a part of it. And a lot of them, I would say maybe like 1 or 2, but a lot of them still friends with today. I become friends with them. They invite me to weddings, the birthday parties, housewarming parties. They reach out to me if they need help with their taxes. I remind them to send out their 1090 to do their This is what I'm talking about service after the close. They still have to file their 1098, which they did not know. Some of them don't know. Even if you tell them, they can't remember because it's a year later. Yeah. So they can't remember things like that. They can't remember to file their homestead exemption, protest their taxes, shop for lower insurance rates. I have to kind of remind them and just make sure they're getting all the savings and all the perks. Let's talk about the homestead exemption. Yes. Can we talk about that one? How do you, so is there a certain deadline? And let's first of all, for those who don't know about a homestead exemption, can you talk a little bit about that first and then give us some information? Yes, so it is a tax savings that you get as a homeowner. So when you buy a home, you file your homestead exemption. And there is a time frame. There's I believe January, I don't have the dates in front of me, but it's January 1st through I think April, some date in April, maybe the 15th or something. And you have to file that form, and you do it only one time, and then you save on that's one of the benefits of being a homeowner. You save on your interest, you save on the property taxes. So if they forget to file that form, then they are billed at a higher rate on their property taxes than if they claim it as a homestead exemption. So I have to remind them, because some of the clients did forget, even though I put it in an email. I said we talk about it at closing, because even the title company brings out the form and say this form needs to be signed. But sometimes if they're closing, let's just say June, July, August, it can't be filed at the time. It has a date where they will, if you try to send it in before, they will just discard it because it has a date you have to send it. It has strict guidelines. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, so if you miss that deadline, you will have to file the following year. Okay, so you do have the opportunity to file it after you've been in the home even still a few years. Yes, but then you miss those tax savings from those years. Yeah, but you just have to make sure it's done basically in tax season. Yes. Okay. I believe that's yes. Okay. I haven't filed one in a while, so I can't remember the dates on them, but I remember it was something January to maybe April. And some of the clients did forget, and I had to remind them. And also, if you move out the house and turn it into a rental property or you sell it, you have to remove that exemption. Okay. But they send you a form every year, say, do you still reside in the home? If you don't, let us know if you do. Yeah. Okay. And so a lot of people, they don't know, though, that even as a homeowner also, that is it the interest that's a tax exemption as well? A portion of it. A portion of your interest is even a tax exemption, and that's another great thing about home ownership. No, a lot of clients, it surprised me how many don't know. A lot of people are not, unless they're into finance, it's almost like they don't even want to deal with their finances. It's almost like they don't understand their the benefits of being a homeowner. They just really want the home more for just a place to grow in, a place to call home, a place to hopefully one day pay off, if that's their goal, pay it off, pass it down to their children or family, or hold it long enough where it appreciates and then they can sell it for a profit. But if they're, have people, they just, they're just not into finance. I try to help them and they don't care. They really don't. Yeah, and I think that's another. You said that starting off about, Megan Estallion. I don't know her personally or know her. I actually don't even know this happened to her, but I feel for her because, like you said, when people get certain things in life, it's like a paycheck or anything, they don't really know how to manage it or they don't read the fine print of certain things, and then it causes them sometimes more trouble down the road, because they just want what they want at that time. They don't. So it's my job to just educate them, protect them in a situation, and constantly remind them what they're entitled to as a homeowner.
Yeah, because
and as an investor,
I think that, like, I can say, I think I know people who aren't homeowners.
Yes.
And they say they want to be homeowners, and you tell them about different programs that are out here that can help them become homeowners. Yes. But I don't think they really realize, like, as you just alluded to, the many benefits in being a homeowner, that it's more than just, no more paying rent anymore, and it's more than just one day this home could be yours. Like you said, it's more to it than that. Yes. There are so many other benefits that people, I don't think they really realize.
Yes. And going back to what you said, like, there's people that tried to help. Like you said, I'll try to help. I spent years, like, there's a lady I talked to maybe 2 weeks ago, and she started telling me, well, my credit is still bad. And she said, I would like to owner finance. And I said, well, see, that's a whole nother topic, owner financing. I asked, so owner financing is good if you're self-employed or you're not employed, but you may have a little money. You may have some money saved, and somebody may owner finance a home. But the interest rate, because the owner is taking a risk on you, is higher, and they want more money down. Because most of the time you either, so let's just say sometimes if you're an immigrant, right, let's just say, maybe you don't have papers or something, so you can't get a home loan through the bank, right? It may be challenging for you. Then you may go owner, but you have 20 to 50K in cash. You say they're working, some of them work under the table too. They may be able to do owner finance. Or a person who's self-employed and they may say I make $50,000, but by the time they take all the deductions on their taxes, it shows they made $20,000. Those people have another hard time getting loans. So but then they have the cash. So someone like that may want to go owner finance, and then as their situation changes, they refinance into a permanent loan at a lower interest rate. So when this particular, and she's not the first one. I mean, a few clients have called me about owner financing. But when they do call me, I ask them, do you have a good job? Yeah, I have a good job. Been at it 5-10 years. Okay, so that's taken care of. Do you have $5,000 or $10,000 down? Yeah, I have $5,000 or $10,000 down. Okay, so what's the problem? Why don't you go regular financing? Well, it's because of my credit. I said, okay, so I can put you on the owner finance, and then you need to come up with they want minimum 10, 15, 20% down. These people, the owners of the property who can owner finance their homes, they want that much down. So they either the person I'm talking to doesn't have that much down because they may only have $5,000 or $10,000, that's not enough, or I tell them, okay, they're also gonna charge you like 8 to 10% interest rate. So if somebody's charging you that much, why don't you just take that same amount of money and go fix your credit? Yeah. And go to a credit repair company. Yeah. So some of these people I've been chasing now since I got licensed in 2016, and they still have not done anything. And just like you said, going back to what you said, you're like, I can't help you, and you're like, I don't know what else to say to you. Like I've already, you've seen me, like I've shown you that we can get it done. You've seen the testimony. You know people. Some of them even know people that I know, and they're like, oh, such and such got a house. Yeah. Like they got a house. I can help you get a house, and then they still won't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something psychologically. I don't know if they're just scared to be homeowners. That's another thing. I don't understand how people are scared to get wealthy.
Come on, let's talk about it.
It's like so strange. It's like they're scared of financial freedom. It's like they're like, oh no, I don't want to. I remember this one lady said, well, I don't want the maintenance of a house. I'm gonna pay rent. And I was like, well, if you get a brand new house, you're probably not gonna have any major, because they come with warranties for 10 years. The roof is good for 30 years. The water heater is good 15 years. So for the first 10 years, you're good. And I said, you may have a little knob right here or there, but the majority of the structure of the house is solid. And then they're like, no, I'm just going to rent $1,800 a month. And I'm just like, well, then the landlord's thankful for, the landlord's happy that you think this way, you know? Yes. And I said, okay, well, so some of those people I can't help. And then the people, going back to another lady called me, same thing, owner finance. She wants to owner finance. And I said, well, did you ever enroll in credit repair? She goes, no, I never enrolled in credit repair. I said, well, we talked a year ago. Did you know a year? She was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Did you know? You could have been finished by now. And then it's like, I don't understand. They want owner finance. Even if we did it, it's higher interest rate, and it's more money down.
Yeah. So you might as well just spend, like you say, invest that money in fixing the credit.
And also with owner finance, the owner wants you to eventually refi out of the home into a permanent loan so they can get their money out. They don't want to owner finance to you forever.
Yeah.
So either way you go, you gotta get your credit.
Yeah. The only people who probably should be even considering owner finance sounds like are people who are illegal.
No, self-employed people. So I've done owner finance. Owner finance is great, but your goal in the end is to get out of the loan or refinance it. Owner finance is great if you're self-employed. I just said that, self-employed or maybe illegal.
Yeah. Well, I say that
I'm sorry. Investors like to do it too. It has some perks for investing too. Okay. So what you can do is, if you're an investor, you may want to owner finance because maybe you can't get the permanent, but you're close to get it, but you don't want to lose the house. So there could be a reason to do it.
Okay.
But for these particular clients, I didn't foresee if they can't do what I asked, if they can't get this part done. I didn't foresee that this owner finance, it will become a burden on them actually, because the interest rate is really high.
Yes,
and it will eventually hurt them financially.
Yeah. Versus, I mean, their mortgage for one is going to be sky high.
It is sky high,
and your mortgage could be way cheaper.
Yeah, it could be a $2,200 mortgage, could be actually a $1,300 mortgage or something like that.
And that's a huge deal.
Yeah, because they're not like rich people. They're not like balling, and so this will affect them financially. I know it will.
Yeah,
I know it will. So the best thing for them in their situation is, and even if they were illegal, the thing is with some of the illegals is they have so much cash. They are very good at saving. Yeah, they usually have, and I'm just going by some of the ones that come. They usually have, like I said, $20,000, $50,000. One had $80,000.
Wow,
$80,000.
You could almost buy a house.
Yeah, he bought 100. The only reason why he didn't buy, I think he bought it 110 or 115 house. This was a while back, by the way. I mean, not a while, but before the market went up as much as it has already. But the reason why he only had about 80, and it was about 115, 120, something like that. So he was a little short, so he did go ahead and take out a mortgage. Cause I'm sorry, he wasn't illegal. I'm so sorry, I did say that. He wasn't from here, but he had his papers. He had his papers to buy a home legally. Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't have said he was illegal. But he had about 80,000, and then he put a lot down, but he had a plan to pay that house off in like 3 years or something. I mean, he even told me, he's like, I'm not going to keep this mortgage. I can pay this off. Wow. So if you have that mentality, then, it may work for you. But if you have the mentality of keeping that mortgage for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you're going to overpay for the house by a great deal. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. With that high interest rate. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Hopefully I explained that correctly for y'all, so y'all can understand that it doesn't make sense to own a finance unless there's a reason behind, like a specific reason. And so I know we touched on it a little bit, but can you just go over if you can, just all the benefits and just being a homeowner? Because like we talked about briefly, we have so many people who they don't realize all the benefits. Another thing I want to mention about that lady who did call me, I remember years ago she said to me, well, if I can't get the house I want, I'm not going to buy anything. That was years ago. Mm-hmm. So what happened with the market is now is really getting out of her price range. And so when I got my first house, it was affordable. I wanted a house at that time because I was just coming out of college. I remember saying to myself, if I lost my job, could I go back to McDonald's somewhere and still pay my mortgage? It wasn't like live. It was just, could I still pay my, I kind of got that mortgage. I wanted it that basic at that time. Yeah. Now I don't think that way. I was scarcity mindset, but I got that. Well, first of all, I did love the house, but at the same time, it was a starter home, and I had to start somewhere. Yeah. And then over time, that house helped me get more investment properties. Mm-hmm. So what happens is when people have that mentality that I'm gonna wait for the market to change, or I'm not buying and I'm not gonna start. This is usually people who don't have a lot of savings or money, right? Mm-hmm. You have to start somewhere, or you're never gonna get started. And when you sit back and wait, the market's going to continue to appreciate, and all that time that you were waiting, you could have probably built up $50,000 to $100,000, up to $100,000 in equity. Mm. All these years you were waiting for that perfect house. I'm not saying don't get a perfect house. I'm saying if your money's tight, get out of renting, start somewhere, and then build from there. It's like Monopoly, just almost like Monopoly. You buy your little house, and you buy the next house, and you buy the next house, and you build up to your fourplex, your triplex, your duplex, or your little apartment complex, or your mega apartment complex, your hotels, whatever your goal is in life. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't just, unless you come from money, you can't just jump in and be like, I'm just going to start at the top. You don't even start at work at the top. So
why would you think that you could start at the top?
Yeah, and I just watched them get priced out the market, and they could still go to other areas. It's just that particular Fort Bend County has become very expensive, in my opinion, because that's the area that they want to live. There's a particular area they want to live, and it became, to get something now is almost like, this is in the 80s. To get something built in the 80s and 90s almost is like $200,000, or $220,000. So to get something brand new now, it's almost like $300,000. I'll say like $270,000, $300,000.
Wow.
So that is, for maybe a single mom, that is hard for her now.
Yeah.
She didn't listen, but she could have. Because see, when you get your first house, you can do a cash refinance and take. So let's say you built up $50,000 in equity, because maybe you've been paying down the mortgage, and then on top of that, the home appreciated another $20,000 or something. So let's just hypothetically use a $50,000. Well, now you can pull that out or sell that. Now you have $50,000 to put towards that new house, or $100,000 to put towards that house you really want. So I don't know. That's how I would think. You start somewhere and you build.
I know for me, I mean, you're definitely telling me a lot of information, so I definitely would like to think for our listeners and viewers that they obviously have to be taking in a lot of information right now.
Okay.
Because I know what you're saying to me is a lot of things that I didn't know. I know for me personally, if it wasn't for my husband, I probably wouldn't have cared much about it being a homeowner. I wouldn't have seen the importance in it. Because I was one of those people. I really didn't see the importance in it. I just figured, hey, as long as we got a roof over our head, what does it matter? If we stay here, we rent, or we own, hey, it doesn't matter. But he looked at the bigger picture. He was able to say, hey, I don't want to keep wasting my money on rents.
Yeah.
And I want to have something that I can possibly leave to my kids one day. That was his thing, and he was basically looking at that bigger picture, that I wasn't looking at.
So you brought up two good points. Let me see. I remember one of them, but that other one, hold on. So one of the points you brought up, your husband. So I do have women who tell me they're not going to buy a home. That's another thing, until they get married. And I said, well, some of us aren't. It's not a guarantee that we're going to be married. And I always tell women, never put because I wasn't married when I got my first home. And I always say, do not put your financial goals on hold for a relationship. Because, number one, if I did that, I would have never been able to leave corporate America. And I would have never been able to start my own business. And then some people say, well, what if I get married and we want to buy a house together? I said, well, sell the first house or rent it out. But you need a house regardless if a man comes into your life or not. That's a whole other topic. But you need a place to live. And then if you, maybe unfortunately get divorced, you need a place to maybe possibly go back to. So I always tell them, don't wait on marriage. I mean, that's financial, like almost like suicide, because all those years you never built up equity. When you look at, I'm not saying real estate investing is one of the best avenues to wealth because I'm a real estate agent. When you look at corporate America and they give you your plan, you go to any financial planner, they're going to give you a plan. Well, I know an oil and gas company used to send financial planners to us for our 401k.
Okay.
And when they talk to you, the financial planners will come in. I think we had some from Wells Fargo. I can't remember who else was over the years they would change our benefit package. So we had Wells Fargo, Merrill Lynch, some of those top firms will come in and talk to us about the portfolio and the mutual funds. And the two things that you needed to retire were real estate. If you weren't creating a company, you needed real estate and stocks. So why would you put that on hold any longer?
Yeah, wow.
If you need that to retire.
I wish I would have known you when I was single.
And any real estate, any financial plan, they're going to tell you those two things. Unless you build out a company, you're going to need real estate and stocks. So if those are the two things you need, why are you not getting them?
Wow, that's very.
Why are you waiting for someone to get those things when you need it anyway?
That's very interesting that's very interesting.
Doesn't make any sense.
Wow. So even with our children, we should be encouraging our children even to invest in themselves.
Yes. So How much longer do we have? God, what did I say? I was like, we're not going to need the whole hour.
I told you. That's how it always goes.
I only got 30 minutes. I got to go get back to work, get back home.
And this is how it always goes on this show. People.
I went to college. I graduated when I finally graduated because I went to college. When I traveled. When I moved away. But when I finally graduated, I graduated from Bauer at the University of Houston, and with a lot of student loan debt. And like I said, when I went into corporate America, the two things they told me was to retire and get a $2 million portfolio so I could live, so I could still scrape by and live. They said you needed stocks and real estate. So I started doing the stocks from the 401k investing at the company, and they matched it, which was really, really wonderful. And it grew tax-free, which is really wonderful. For tax-free until you take it out when you're retired, and that's when they get you. So that's when your $2 million portfolio becomes $1 million, But I always tell people if they can do this, only if they are in a position to do this. You send your kid to college, and you pay $50,000, or they finance $50,000, just hypothetically.
Okay.
And that same $50,000 can be a down payment on 3 homes. Okay. Let's just use $100,000 on a home, just for simple math, because I'm not a math wizard. Let's use you can take that same amount of money every year. Let's say you're going to pay $10,000 a year to your kid's college education for the next 5 years, hypothetically. And you took that same amount of money, you bought them 3 properties, and you look at the appreciation in Houston over the last 5 years for properties. Your child will probably be worth $600,000. Wow. And they're getting out of school just to make $45,000, $50,000. So I'm not a fan of school. Me and my siblings, my 11 siblings, we're teaching the kids to become entrepreneurs and investors. We tell them education is important, but we're teaching them a totally different mindset than traditional society is going, because we see the future, and it's about being self-reliant, because people are losing their job, and it's about investing now. Not now, because some of them are little, but like positioning them. And that's all I would tell you. Parents just got to start thinking differently. If your child is going to need stocks and real estate to retire anyway, why won't you just buy for them now? Mm-hmm. They don't have to wait. You don't have to wait 40 years just to get a $2 million real estate portfolio. You can just buy it as soon as you have you just buy one at a time. Start somewhere. That's what I was trying to say. Start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And in 10 years, you could have that portfolio. And then you might be able to leave corporate America or wherever you're at. And become a real estate agent with me. Now I'm just like. But my point is, you can leave,
Yes, okay. So
you gotta just think. You gotta start thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Bigger,
I think that's what you're always being. We can think so much bigger than what we're thinking right now. There's so much more out there that we don't even realize is out there.
Exactly.
I mean, and just to go back to what you said previously about why are we so afraid of building wealth? It's like a mindset.
It's like some kind of slavery mind, mental slavery. But a lot of people, especially the foreigners, they're buying up the real estate, especially in that Fort Bend, because that's the area I work a lot. I mean, I work all over, but that's one of the areas that I watch them. They're teaching their kids to buy. They're teaching their kids to buy up that real estate. Buy up these shopping centers. They already own shopping centers and stuff.
Yeah. And that's what I'm just listening, and I'm just, just thinking. My mind is rolling now. I'm like, what should, you're spending. You're saving your pennies for your kids' future.
Yes.
Most of us save the college fund, but maybe we may want to reconsider that.
Yes. And a tax benefit on real estate is way, like, the 401k was, okay, we'll defer your taxes until you're 65. So I have to wait till I'm 65. I actually made a video. I don't know if this was a long time ago, but it was called Fuck the 401k, I Want My Money Now. Yeah. And I broke down in that video how the 401k, the corporate job had told me, put your money here until you're like 40, let's just say 40 years, because I forgot. I got to do the math again. I figured out what age I was when that was and when I was going to retire. But I think I had like 30, 40 years before my retirement. And then I started doing the math, and I'm like, okay, so I put $2 million, and it's supposed to get 4% withdrawal rate. I think that's a withdrawal rate. The standard withdrawal rate is like 4% of your money you're going to take it to live on. So I think that was like, I don't know, maybe 40 grand or something. And I was just like, what? I can buy like 7 properties at $500 a month and have most of that covered today. Like, why would I wait?
Yeah.
And then also, when you buy own rental property, the government lets you take depreciation on the property. So you pay almost no taxes on your cash flow, on your income. So why don't you just take that tax break today instead of waiting 40 years for them to tax you, which we don't know what the tax rate is going to be in the future, on a 401k?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. So that's why I made that video. I got to dig it up and find it and then repost it. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I need to watch this video.
Yeah. I need to rewatch it. Remind myself how. Anyway, I read a lot and I think about these things, you know. Like you said, our time on this earth is short, so we need to spend it where we're doing something we love to do.
Yes.
Fashion, music, art, educating, whatever it is, we just need to do what we love to do.
Yes.
That makes us come alive.
Yes. And that's what this show, we do our best to center it around that, platform it around that, you know, encouraging people to follow your dreams and to dream big. And so definitely, I mean, what you've shared today has definitely been
yes, listen to your husband. buy more.
It's definitely been a jewel what you have shared. I'm just thinking about even my children. I have 2 older daughters and 2 small boys. And I'm just thinking of basically we need to go a whole different bracket with them, especially these 2 small boys. I mean, the older girls, one's in college and the other one's, you know, she's in the rat race now.
Yeah.
But
rat race is tough.
but I mean, this is but definitely considering rethinking what I thought, like I said, was possibly a college fund for those young boys.
No.
Shouldn't probably be a college fund.
They can go to, I mean, it depends on because the things with college is the kids have to want to go, and some of them are dropping out of, I told my exes, I was like, your son, he was an entrepreneur flipping tennis shoes in high school in Fort Bend County. Yeah. He would go stand in line with these and get these tennis shoes. You know, they kept up with the new shoes coming out. And he would take them to school to the richer kids who didn't want to stand in line or something like that and sell them to them for like he used to make good money doing this.
I bet.
And I told my ex, because it was my ex-son, stepson. So I said, your son is going to be an entrepreneur. He's not going to go. And he was supposed to be the first, because they were immigrants too. He was supposed to be the first one to go to college out of the whole entire history of their family. Oh, they came down on me hard when I said, I don't think he should go to college. He's an entrepreneur. He's going to drop. You know, he ended up dropping out. I think they made him go. Well, I'm not talking to that guy anymore, so I don't really know what happened with him. But I remember he ended up dropping out, and then they made him go back, or they talked about going back, and he went back. But I said, it's gonna be miserable. Y'all are just ruining his life. He already because he had that mindset. He would do other little stuff on the side. I can't remember, but he had that entrepreneur hustle about him. I said, that kid is gonna be something else.
And that's what it's. I mean, we've had people on our show too who have had understanding parents who said, hey, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of this one young lady. She started her own cosmetic line.
Okay.
It's called Beat Face. Yeah. And so that was her thing. Her parents had sent her to college, and I think she said after the first year, that was pretty much her story. She was like, she came to her mom and told her, this is not for me. And so her mom did help her invest and start her cosmetic line. Okay. So I do, I'm like you, and I went to, like I said, the conference we went to last Sunday, they alluded to that as well. Like, if college is not for everybody, if you're going to go to college, it needs to be, granted there are some things that you may want to do that will involve you needing to go to college. Yes.
It depends on what you want to do. So if you need to be a doctor, scientist, astronaut, certain political job, you gotta go. But let your kids find themselves, because if you pressure them, all they're going to do is waste your money and they're going to drop out. Yeah. Or even if they finish, they're not going to go into the field that they went to school for. So it's just a waste of money. So all that time you could have, your kids will probably be way more, if you teach them about, ask them to read Robert Kiyosaki, just to get started. Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. You know that book. Okay. Get them started, get their minds thinking, because their minds have to be groomed to understand it, or they're going to blow the money anyway if they don't understand why they're doing this. But I think your kids will be so much better if you take all that money and buy them real estate. Buy them an apartment complex. Put it down on an apartment complex. Y'all all will be fine. Yeah. And let them live off the residual for that. And then they can still go do whatever they else they want. They just have that.
Yeah, have that cushion.
Some of the poor, we should not go to college. And I'm going to tell you why. The people grew up poor and didn't grow up with, people paying, parents who could pay for their college. Because I watched too many of them. Like, I had a friend, he went to medical school. I don't even think he finished it and had $300,000 student loan. You know how hard it is to dig yourself out of $300,000 in student loan? And then they said, if you go online, there's a lot of people complaining that they're paying on their student loan, but it's not going down. Yeah. It's like the government owns your paycheck. You get your paycheck, they take taxes from you, 15, 20, 30%, depending on what bracket you're in. Then they give you free money to go to school and put yourself in debt, and then they tax you on that money, and you can't get out of. They put interest on that money, and then you can't get out of those loans. Yeah. I have one auntie, like a play auntie. I think she's been in debt 20 years. She still saying, I ain't paying no thing. Like, she older now. She really is older. She went to school late in life, but I remember her saying, I don't have no plan of paying it off. I'm just gonna die. She's never get it paid off. Like, I don't have it. I don't have the money. Just like, so it's really hurting the American people, the working ones and the lower income ones. But it also, like, it has success stories. Of course, we know people went to college and moved up in corporate America or did something phenomenal. Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, be careful with it, because it can ruin your life. Because when I got out of college and I tried to get a job into oil and gas, they hired me at a very, very low rate. Like, I did better. I was making more in restaurants. I was making almost $20,000-$30,000 more in restaurants just being a waitress. Wow. Than they paid me getting out of college. So there was no way for me to. But I had already quit that job, so I can focus on that oil and gas full time. Yeah. Over the years, I did get an increase in my wages, but those first 3 years were really tough. Yeah. And no one told me that. I'm thinking, I got a college degree. I'm going to get this. Now I'm going to get this good paying job.
A lot of people think
use the fact that you don't have experience to start you at the bottom. And I swear to God, I could have made more as probably like a Chick-fil-A cashier. Yeah. I swear, it was like $10, $12 an hour. It was horrible.
Oh my God.
And when I was in the restaurant, I was making way more than that. Wow. Way more than that as a waitress. Because I worked at like a high-end steakhouse, so I was making way more than that. So, yeah. You got to be careful putting your kids in school and in debt. Yeah. Also, that 6% interest rate that they have on those student loans. Like I said, you can get a house 3%, 4%, depending on your credit. So why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. I can go on about this forever. I can go on about this.
Hey, I love it, and I know
you got me rolling, and I had a little red juice here, got me rolling.
Well, no, it is very, like I said, I can't stress enough how it's important that we know these facts and that we are aware of these things. So I definitely am appreciative, and I know I can definitely honestly speak for our listeners and viewers who were tuned in today to say that I definitely appreciate this information as well. I know they do. Okay, I just hope it got their mind thinking a little bit, some other alternatives. Yeah, I know it got my mind thinking, so I know I'm not the only one. Okay. Especially for those who definitely follow our show on a constant basis. This is pretty much, it stays right in the flow of what we are constantly, always encouraging, entrepreneurship, follow your dreams. And it's not too many people who are like, it's like you're going to school because you're trying to figure out what you want to do, basically.
That's what I did, yeah.
I mean, that's why I wanted to do it. I went to college, didn't finish, but that's why I wanted to do it initially, was to try to figure it out when...
But a lot of the successful entrepreneurs never went to college. That's the crazy. Even Bill Gates, everybody knows his story. He dropped out. Same thing. Mark Zuckerberg. Did Mark Zuckerberg finish? I think he dropped out too.
Yeah, college. Yeah.
And what did they do? They started businesses. When people talk to you about like real estate, building this brokerage, everything, it came to me like a brokerage has a high failure rate. I have to go. I have when I told my coach and people I knew that I was starting. Of course, they were, support. They had nice words to say, but at the same time, they had a lot of concern because the failure in real estate is high. Open a brokerage has a high failure rate. You're going up against Open Door. You're going up against Redfin, who has billions and billions of dollars. They can run advertisements that I can't run. They can take market share that at this time I don't have access to. You go up against Redfin, Open Door. What's the other one? Zillow is trying to take over the market. We have like they're called iBuyers. We call them the disruptors of the market. There's Compass that got $2 billion loan to start from like I believe a Chinese company. Y'all Google this. I might have my facts wrong, but they got like $2 billion loan from like a big company to go in and take over market, and they did. They're like taking over all these markets, and I don't have a $2 billion. Nobody gave me $2 billion. So why I started this? One of the reasons I started this is to help real estate agents so they don't fail. The ones that want to do this business, like had a passion for me, but struggle because I did struggle in the beginning. I mean, I still made sales, but I still struggled with going from working at the age of 15 to like 2016. Basically, I've always worked. I always had a job. So to go from like someone always giving me my paycheck to now no one's ever giving me a paycheck, and I got to figure out where health insurance is going to come from, and retirement and all that. Just all this stuff. You feel like you're safer in this corporate job. So now I don't have that anymore. And then there's like Chloe. She's our first agent actually to join, and she's a mother of two, a single mother of two. But she had that. I'm telling you, she had the same hustle. She's born actually 2 weeks before me. So she already saw it, and she had the fire in her eyes, and she's like, I'm gonna take this on. So she got licensed in December. She has about $3 million in the pipeline already, which is she's gonna exceed what I've done when I got started. I already know that. So I posted about her on my page, on my Facebook and Instagram page, and my goal is just to make sure if she would have went to some of the bigger firms, they won't. I already know just because I went there. I always told all the agents, you can go there if it works for you, fine. If you don't, come back and see me, right? It's no pressure. But one of the things is I feel like almost this obligation to help like her, because she has two kids. She has a son. She has to get to college in the next few years too. So she has goals too. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons when I decided to do this, I said, you know what, I have to help people who are like similar to me, who want a better life for their family and their kids and everything. So I have that I feel like that obligation. But something just told me I had to do it. Like it was just like something just came and said, you have to build this. You have to just do it. You'll get everything you need. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Just build it and then help the people you can help, and you'll be okay. And I feel okay. We already have about $1 million. I got about $1.7 million in sales, not in earnings. People like, you got $1 million. No, it's in our sales pipeline. So I got $1 million, and then I already did like in January, February, I already did like 600,000, and then I have $1 million. So that'll be like 1.6, 1.7 million between now and April. So that's pretty good. Starting out, getting the year going. Of course, I need to build up on that, but I've been busy building out the brokerage and things like that. But my point is like, I just don't have the fear that I used to have, that it would like almost like it's my calling to do this, and when you start, you do have that kind of like that fear that, I'm self-employed, I don't have a check anymore from anyone. But then it's almost like clients migrate to me anyway, or when I don't think I'm gonna have a client, somebody calls me or sends me a referral, and it just happens. Mm-hmm. And so when I decided to build this, I said I don't care who is out there. I'm gonna build this and I'm gonna make it work. Like it's destined for me, because it wouldn't have come to me if it wasn't destined for me. Going back with your kids. When your kids tell you they want to do something, they want to be anything in life, just support them. I don't know why it comes to them to do those things. But my nephew, I posted this on Facebook as well. You can see the picture of him. He went into the Air Force the Navy in September last year. He graduated from Elsick High School, A-Leaf, I think, Elsick last year. So when I was in the kitchen, when I had the first house, he was 3? Was he 3, I think, or 5 or something? But he came to me, and I was in the kitchen, and he tugged on my clothes, auntie. And then I'm like cooking, and you know how you're standing up, and you're just like, cooking like what, baby? What, I'm cooking. And then he says, I built an airplane. And he holds up this airplane, and I freak out. Because I knew his father is like a genius. I knew he took something apart in my house to build his airplane. He took the TV, the big. So, oh my God, I screamed. I was running around. I was like, what did you do? Where did you get that from? I'm like freaking out because it had screws in it. It had metal pieces. I was like, oh no. So, years go on. We still know he's building computers and stuff with his father, and he does that. And then he says, okay, I'm going to I said, where are you going to go to college? He says, last year when he was graduating from LSIC, he says, I'm going into the Navy. And I said, well, okay, good. You're going to do computer science or computer whatever. He goes, no, I'm going to build airplanes. I told this story years later. I swear to God. He wants to still build a daggone airplane. And it takes me back to that story when
Yeah.
And I just realized some of these kids, when they're born, they already have, like, God's already put in them what they're going to. But he said the airplanes have computer components, of course. I didn't think about it. So he's building the computer components for these military crafts. But my point is, they know what they want to do, and especially with this Instagram. People becoming Instagram famous, and Instagram this, Instagram and Facebook this, YouTubers. Let them do it, man.
Yeah.
You don't stop them, man. Just give them. Don't let them be lazy and like sit around house on video games all day. But God put something in these kids to go out and create. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure he created Facebook. His mom's like, if you don't get off that computer and go take your butt to like, if she saw him doing that, she'll probably like, you don't get your butt out of this room and go. Yeah, how you gonna build this social channel where all your friends can chat with each other? What the heck are you? Like, we never heard of that. I remember when Facebook came out. I didn't want to get on. I didn't want to get on social media.
But before we knew it, it took off.
So you don't know what these kids are capable of, and it's just like I said, going back to the broker, it comes to me to do these things, and I just follow it. That's all I can tell you. Just follow what it says, and sometimes I do. I don't know if it's God or angel. Sometimes I do just be like, leave me alone so I can sleep. I don't want to do this. One guy tried to get me on his show to talk about. I don't do radio shows. Like, this is, because of Danielle, I did it, but I don't like to do the interviews at radio shows. This guy tried to get me on his show, and he said, you got to tell your story, you got to come out, and then I was just like, no, I'm fine where I am. He says, one day, God is good. He said, he's pushing you, but you're being resistant. He's going to push you to the forefront anyway. You're going to see. He just sees it, and this guy just, he don't leave me alone. But he's like one of those community leaders. He's like, you're going to do some big things. He said, I'm surprised you haven't ran for mayor of a city yet. You'd be doing so much stuff. And I was like, I just want to be left alone. But it tells me to do these things that I'm doing because there's people I'm going to help. And the agent with the single mom, I'm going to make sure she's successful. Like, I'm going to do everything in my power. And, because she has that drive. She's meeting me halfway. She's not, I'm sorry, something got in my eye.
I got you.
But I can like I said, we're born around the same time. So she has that, like, that same...
you can see
I can see it in her. And she already hit the ground running. And that's what I did when I got licensed. It's just that I made mistakes on the way because I didn't have, like, guidance or coach. And I didn't understand the business, how to do it on the sales side. Being, what do you call it? Being a person who was dependent on like a paycheck and going to self-employment, I just made mistakes. But those mistakes, you have to do them. There's no way around mistakes in life. You have to, like, we would not be able to sit here today and talk to your audience if somebody didn't make a mistake building out the components we use today to talk to people.
That's true. So
everything's a mistake, and it's okay, and I love mistakes. I'll make them all day because you learn, and that's how you grow, and that's how you do. The mistakes are only they're only temporary setbacks, just so you can know what to do the next time around. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk. Sorry, I've been talking.
No, this has been awesome, okay. But unfortunately we have run out of time.
Sorry.
I definitely have enjoyed the interview. I hope you have enjoyed your interview here on Sistas Talk today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being a woman of your word and coming and giving us this interview and sharing all this great information with us.
Ma'am.
And to our listeners and our viewers, as always, we appreciate you being tuned in to the Sistas Talk Podcast show. We will be back with you next Sunday with another amazing guest, another great interview, and some more fabulous information that we would like to believe that you may not necessarily know if it had not been for great programming like this. So continue to stay tuned. Be sure to reach out to Danny M. or myself on Sistas Talk or as well as in our personal inboxes so that you can get you an interview on the show and bring out some more great information. Also, be sure to reach out to us so that you can get your hashtag self-love t-shirt so that you can be a part of the movement, creating and motivating men and women to self-love, to love yourself. There's nothing wrong with loving on you. And so, as always, we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in to the Sistas Talk Podcast. See you next Sunday.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I talked